All right, so we're gonna work on just kind of a short-sided pitch, a little bit up the hill, and talk about how we get it to have a little bit softer landing. And this is a shot that's not the basic bump and run, so just hit a couple and talk about what you're kind of thinking on this shot. You got slightly open face at setup.
Yeah, I got ball forward. Got a 60-degree ping lob wedge. And
Nice.
I'm just trying to fly it about 6 feet on the green. So I'm elevated about 3 feet up to the green. Got some decent lie. It's just pretty good Bermuda.
Yeah.
We're giving ourselves some decent lies just for practice.
So your setup is just almost inside your left heel slightly.
I like to get a little bit wider.
Right.
Ball left heel, shaft pretty neutral. And I'm hitting these shots a little bit extra high. Kind of
Nice.
on purpose, just to kind of get my wrist engaged and get them a little warmed up.
Yeah.
But I like to get a little bit wider with feet.
Right.
I want to pressure my left foot more. I'm certainly not going to hang back on my right side. And the biggest thing here, I have to edit that one. The biggest thing here is
a little thin.
I'm focused on where the trailing edge of my club is hitting the ground, okay? So I've got a 60-degree lob wedge. It's an SS grind, which means basically 10 degrees of bounce. So the back of the club is beveled off. So when we open the face, it kind of eases off this back edge of the club, and it helps the club kind of float down on the ground a little bit better. So if you have some tighter Bermuda, which this is, I can put the trailing edge in the ground, and it's easy for me just to get the club right under the ball.
Yeah.
So you can even almost drop kick this shot a tiny bit,
Right.
and it still gives you a pretty good result. But
Yeah, you don't have to hit like perfect contact. You can almost use the bounce a little bit, right?
No, so I feel like my backswing and follow through are very similar on both sides of the ball, and I'm just simply focused on good pace.
You hinging your wrists a little bit in the backswing?
Yeah, I'm gonna set my wrist. I like to really pressure my left shoe a lot. And I could hit this, I'm gonna go a little bit less loft. So this shot's way easier when I don't open the face as much.
Right.
Because remember, when you're hitting these shots, you have to look at the ground and the environment, especially when you have a really short-sighted or tough shot. And this pin is about 6 yards on. But I look at this shot and I go, I've got 3 factors helping me out. The first one is I'm hitting off an upslope. The second one is I've got a little bit of cushy grass here. It's not like sitting way up in the air, but I got some margin of error underneath. I mean, especially this lie. I mean, that's like cheating almost.
Yeah.
And the third thing is I got a little bit of breeze in my face. So that's, all 3 of those factors are going to help me soften this strike a little bit and get it
to land softer.
A little bit softer. But
so if you wanted to kind of really throw one up, I mean, what would you do? Just open up a little more, almost get a little.
If I wanted to really hit one high, which honestly I would never need to hit.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
A whole lot.
You wouldn't need to.
No, but
unless
if
it was.
I wanted to.
Unless it was sloping away.
Right hand a little bit.
She'll throw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for someone to do that, you don't need an uphill lie. It will help, but generally, if your ball's sitting up in the air like this, I've got about an inch underneath this ball that I could allow this golf club to slide under. So I'm going to hit this shot. I'm going to throw my right hand, and it just comes down like a rainbow. Now,
that's great.
Off of really tight lies, this shot becomes tougher. And again, if you've got a lob wedge that has 14 degrees of bounce, I mean, that thing looks like a truss down there.
Yeah.
If you've got a ton of bounce on this club, it's hard to hit it off of super tight lies. You would be looking more like a 6 or 8 bounce. Less bounce, it's not going to dig as much, especially with softer turf like this.
Let's
So-
try one off of the almost like a little baked lie here.
Okay.
So this would be, where's a little tighter over here.
So
This is a little bit tougher.
I'm gonna go to the second flag on the right.
That's,
Okay, so
yeah, so it's,
we had a lot of rain last night, and this area is kind of worn down, but there's still some good Bermuda down here. So sometimes when it rains hard the night before, it'll soften the ground, and for whatever reason, it just makes contact a little bit easier. So I'm gonna go to the second yellow flag, and the green's gonna break right, and the second half of this shot on the green is gonna go uphill. So I don't need to hit this thing super high. When this ball hits the ground, it's gonna check up a little bit. So I'm only gonna go like square face on this one, and you'll see the swing itself will be a little bit smaller. I stuck that in the ground a little bit. But the difference with this shot is, because I'm hitting more of like a chip shot with my lob wedge, I don't need a super wide stance. I'm gonna get a little bit closer feet, very similar to how I would be if I was hitting just a normal chip.
you're using a normal grip?
For this shot I am.
Yeah.
Closer to the green, with less hinge, I'm always using my putting grip.
Okay.
Whether it's lob wedge or 8-iron, I'm chipping on. But this little shot here, it's gonna break right when it hits the green. So feet closer together. That felt nice. That was crispy.
That was better.
That was ball ground contact. You know, but to hit that shot, it wasn't a big swing.
It's a little more of a square face. You're not trying to cut across it.
No, I'm not.
You're
trying
hitting
to
it pretty
cut
square.
across this. I do stand a little closer when I chip, just to get the shaft up. Keeps the head from having so much arc to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would aim about 3 feet left of this pin, swing it to there, and it's just like a left arm shaft. You know, chest and left arm and shaft motion.
All right.
Very simple motion. No stopping at the ball, folks. Swing this golf club right on over here to the finish. If I hit this shot 50 times in a row, you could take a screenshot, and every time that club's gonna finish right there.
Yeah. You don't just stab at the ball or
No,
stop
I
right
don't
at the
wanna-
ball.
I'm letting this energy just go right through the ball, just letting the weight of the club crash through the ball right over here to my finish.
Let me try to now. I'll try to hit a couple here too, just to keep it rolling.
So I'm just gonna practice a couple here. So for the higher one, I'm gonna get a slightly wider base.
Actually, let me see your. I got my 54. I gotta use your 58.
Okay.
Or 60. 60. I don't have to make a huge swing, right? It's almost just
No, it feels very, very equal on both sides of the ball. That was perfect. There's just a little dirt spot on the edge of the green. Yeah, you just got really smooth motion through there.
I landed pretty soft there.
Yeah, that's a foot from the cup. Just good rhythm with this shot. You know, there's no stopping.
You're not trying to help it up in the air, right?
No.
You're almost keeping that pressure on this left side here.
That's beautiful. So Mick will have a little bit longer follow through when he wants to give it that tiny bit extra height, just to get it coming down as steep and as soft as possible on the green.
Try to throw one up in the air a little bit more. Close.
So this is a shot that you would want to practice. If you're going out to work on your short game, I would start off with just basic chips and some pitches. And then as you get more warmed up, bingo.
There we go.
Then I'd start to branch out to some of these tougher shots, and because we're gonna have these shots.
And the second one's a little more on top of it, a little more square.
Yeah. That ball's rolling out when it hits the green. It's gonna have a little bit of check. That was nice. So this,
Hold your follow through.
yeah. So this shot, you can see the follow through is abbreviated. But the difference with this one is he doesn't have to hit it as high. Plus there's another 30 feet of green to work with, but that ball is going to check up when it hits the ground. So as you start to hit some of these shots with the pin further away from the fringe, you might go a little straighter face wedge so it doesn't check as much. It's good.